All right. In 1759, a man named Thomas Dixon patented 300 acres of land right here in this area. And there were a group of families interrelated, all from Ireland, the Dixons, McReynolds, Wilsons, McIvers, and a few others I can't remember right now. Thomas Dixon had a sister named Mary. Mary married Matthew Wilson, 2 L's by the way. And Matthew and Mary had a daughter named Jane. And Jane Wilson and James McIver were married. So the Dixons were the kind of the founders, the opportunists, whatever, entrepreneurs in the area, and the land got divided up among family. Dixon died, and the land got passed on to Robert Wilson, who was Jane's brother. In 1778, James McIver bought 150 acres of land from Robert Wilson, his brother-in-law. And this is the area that you are standing on now. Now, Don, who has some training in archaeology, it guesses that the main house was probably up there. And then the cemetery is here. Buried in the cemetery, we know marked are James and his son Daniel. And James is one of our grandfathers. Daniel is our next grandfather. And one of Daniel's sons was Christopher. He's the next grandfather. And then Hugh Eugene, Royal Pittman, for me, Roy, and then me. So that's the line. That's the begats. Buried in here, James, Daniel. James Jr., Daniel's brother, inherited the property after the death of his mother. He kept the property. The mother died, Jane, in 1825. James married 3 months later. But he had 2 children, James and Christopher. Then the James Jr. died, leaving 2 young boys. Now those 2, Nancy, his wife was Nancy Clark. She remarried a Jones. So Christopher and James were raised in the Jones household, which was here, because she inherited, Nancy inherited. So from then on, the place essentially passed out of the hands of the McIvers, the McIver name. And we don't know. Appomattox County history is kind of lost because they had a burned courthouse. It's an interesting story. I think it was 1890 something. Somebody burned the courthouse because they thought if the courthouse burned, they wouldn't have to pay taxes. But anyway, the records, Appomattox records were lost, so it's very difficult to trace history in this area through land possession. But nonetheless, my guess is that after the Civil War, the house probably fell to ruins and then eventually disappeared. They would take materials out of it, scavenge materials, put it in other houses. But the original farmhouse was probably built around 1778, 1780, probably disappeared between 1865 and 1900. That's probably about all I know about that.